All right, same sort of situation here. There's a bunch of limpers, and I looked down at 5-4 of clubs on the button. Happy to limp along with this sort of a hand in this sort of a game. And we see a 5-way flop this time. The flop does not come too much more favorable than this flop. 6, 7, 8 all clubs. Flop a straight flush. Action checks to the hijack, who puts out a bet, thankfully. Always nice to see someone bet into you when you have a straight flush. Hijack bets $50. I make the call, and the small blind, who, as I mentioned before, has been playing lots of hands, not folding very often, puts in a raise. Makes it $250. Stuff dreams are made of. The hijack makes the call, and I think I'm just gonna call with a straight flush. How often do you get led into and then raised behind when you have a straight flush? Seems like happy to let some people try and catch up. I guess there's probably merit to putting in a raise, a 3-bet here on the flop, since check raise from the small blind seems pretty strong. It's a pretty hefty raise, and versus this player type in particular, doesn't like folding too much. But I'm just happy to under-rep my hand as much as humanly possible here. I go ahead and make the flat call. We see a turn card 3 ways. Offsuit 4. This time the small blind puts out another bet, a little bit smaller this time, bets $200. A little bit strange, but further good news is that the hijack doesn't fold. He makes the call. I make a pretty quick call as well. So we're seeing a river card 3 ways again, which is another offsuit 4. This time the small blind bets $400. Again, pretty awesome situation. Pretty sweet situation developing here. The hijack again does not fold, tosses in the call, and now there's not too much choice because I only have about $950 I think total, maybe not even, somewhere around 900. Not too much choice here. All this money is being raised into the pot. The small blind kind of hems and haws a little bit, doesn't seem too happy with the situation, but then he makes the call. Hijack is a pretty good player. He deduces that his hand is no longer any good here. He folds. He later says that he folded the king high flush with the straight flush redraw, so he was not drawing dead. I show my hand, and the small blind mucks his hand. Later claims that he had 2 pair, which I don't think is too far out of the realm of possibility, considering some of the action that I've seen thus far. So we flop a straight flush. We get bet into on the flop, we get a raise on the flop, we get bet into on the turn, bet into on the river, jam all in on the river, and get paid. I mean, it's amazing how these things happen. You flop a hand against an opponent that has less than 1% equity to chop in one hand. And I guess the poker gods tend to reward you at some point, and sometimes that reward comes much sooner than expected. Flop a straight flush and get all sorts of action.